Hi, thanks for tuning in to Sin's Workshop. I hope everyone's having a great day. Today we're going to be talking about The Girl of Hawthorn and Glass by Adan Jerreat-Poole. Hope I'm saying their name right. Okay, so this is a novel I should have loved easily. I love the premise. I loved the young adult fantasy. That's my genre. If you are a follower, you already kind of know that young adult fiction is basically what I tend to review. But I think my biggest problem with this novel was it left me feeling hollow. I read this book at nighttime, and whenever I would put it down to finally go to sleep, it felt like I had absorbed nothing, and I kind of just chalked it up to just exhaustion. I'm just like, oh, tomorrow it'll be better. But as I continued to read the story, when I finally finished it, my exact words were, what the hell did I just read? It felt like nothing happened in this novel, and I think that has to do with the lack of substance. It really does lack substance. The story starts off, with some things that are also never kind of addressed, which is also a bit of an issue. So it follows Eli. She's a maid girl. She was made by a witch from Hawthorn and Glass and a bunch of other things. She is an assassin in the City of Eyes. She hunts ghosts in the City of Ghosts, which I'm going to assume is our world, our reality. That's what I'm assuming. Uber drivers, Advil. I'm assuming cafes. That's what I'm going to assume. The City of Ghosts is our world. Okay. Great. It's a little weird that it's called the City of Ghosts without really any context other than she hunts ghosts here, but why not just call it Earth? Kind of seems like an insubstantial kind of, it seems kind of silly to call, Earth. The City of Eyes, I get why you're calling the City of Eyes the City of Eyes. You have to go through a portal to get to the world the witches live. I understand that, I get that. But it's clear this is Earth, so why not just call it Earth? You know what I mean? I felt like calling it the City of Ghosts was just inconsequential. But anyway, you're following Eli. She's an assassin. She kills a man. It catches her off guard because she's never killed a human. She's only ever killed ghosts possessing humans. So that's never addressed again, her killing this one man. It's kind of just like thrown into the wind. There's really no meaning behind it. And she's sent back, she goes back home, and then she's sent back to the City of Ghosts to hunt another person, and they're not even the right target. And they're human, and then there's this whole mystery, and then she's kind of caught in this whirlwind with these witches, renegade witches who live in the City of Ghosts. Okay, the pacing is incredibly fast. There's so much lack of detail, and based on the premise, based on the synopsis of the book, you're kind of expecting a stronger reason for her to join these renegade witches. But there's really, like I said, it lacks substance. There's such a quick pace, but such a lack of detail. It's just words on a page, and it left me feeling really hollow, which I'm really disappointed about because I went into this novel expecting to love it. I had really high expectations. And I just didn't connect with it at all. I didn't think it was good, and I feel kind of bad saying that because, once again, I felt like this is a novel I should have enjoyed 100%. And then, Eli meets Tav. Tav is a non-binary character, which I think is really cool. There are points where Eli calls her a boy, but not really B-O-Y, it's B-O-I. Which I thought was, really interesting take on respecting this character's, gender, their sexuality. I thought that was respectful, and I do expect that from the author. The author is non-binary, so I kind of expected that. But Tav is just, I'll say this about all the characters, between Eli and Tav and Cam, they're not given enough definition. They're not given enough detail to sort of at least allow the reader to imagine them. They're like the world when I'm not wearing my glasses. I wear glasses, and I have a slightly strong prescription, so whenever I take off my glasses, the world is just fuzzy. And I feel like that's what these characters were. They were just kind of so blurry and fuzzy. Like, you can kind of see their fringes. Like, if you squint really hard, maybe you can see them. But that's how it felt to me. That's how I felt like when I was reading them, especially when Eli starts mentioning Cam's mustache. My first words were, he has a mustache? Since when? And had I had more time, I would have gone back to find that first instance. But that's what I'm saying. The pacing, it's really jarring, and there's such a lack of detail that you're not really grounding the reader in the story. And the fact that these characters aren't really structured or defined also doesn't ground the reader. I mean, the reader needs something to ground them in the story. They need some sort of substance. Flowery words and lyrical prose is just not going to cut it. We need substance. And it just seems like this novel wasn't even that lyrical. And yet I look at the synopsis, and it's supposed to be this, the blurb says a lyrically written story. I don't see the lyric. I don't see that at all. It's just very disjointed. It doesn't really have that substance that I wish it did have, because I wanted to like this novel. I really did. I really wanted to like it. And then you're switching worlds, And then things happen. And I feel like things happen in this story, and then they just kind of happen, and then they're not addressed again. You know what I mean? It's just very inconsistent. It's very inconsistent as far as storytelling goes. It doesn't seem like this whole story. It feels like there's bits missing. And I really think this story needs a lot of work, because it doesn't feel whole. Like I said, when I was done reading it, my first words were, what did I just read? Like, I have no idea what this was. Like, what was this? It left me feeling hollow, unsatisfied, like I had just eaten a bunch of empty calories. No nutritional value. It didn't make me full inside. And I like books that make me full. It's so hard to start another book because, you're still reeling from the previous book. And with this novel, I was just kind of really disappointed. It just has such a lack of definition to it that I just wasn't able to grab. There was nothing for me to grab onto. There's a lot happening, and the pacing is disjointed. It starts off fast paced, and then it slows down drastically, and then it picks up again. And then you're just kind of lost because there's hardly any real detail to ground the reader in the story. Especially because they change scenery really quickly. The scenery in this story is pretty much non-existent. That's not right. It's not that the scenery is non-existent. It's just the story jumps from one scene to another, changing scenery. But you're like, what just happened? What did I miss? Did I miss something? What? You feel like you're missing something when you're reading it. And it kind of made me want to pull my hair out, because I'm like, okay, how did they get here? And I go back and I read it, and I'm like, okay, I didn't miss anything, but how did they get here? I get that it's magical, I get that it's fantasy, but I shouldn't be at loss, I shouldn't be so confused when it comes to transporting the characters, it lost me as a reader, and it was really bothersome that I really couldn't find anything to like about this story. I read it from beginning to end, so at least there's that. I was able to read it. It just left me feeling empty. And I hate that. I hate that it left me feeling empty. I'm talking about it, and I really have no emotional connection to this story. And I really regret that. I really do. I just think that this novel could have been... there's more that could have been done with this novel. There's more that could have been done with the descriptions, with the pacing, with the character dynamics that kind of also feel empty. You're supposed to see these three people growing as a group, as friends, and you're not really seeing it either, and I think that's really sad. I find it really unfortunate that kind of happened. So I have to say, this novel was a bit of a disappointment, However, like I always say, I'm never not going to recommend a book, This is how I felt about the novel. This is my opinion. Other people are going to feel differently than me. Some people are probably going to love this novel. Some people are probably going to latch onto it quite well, to each their own. This is my opinion, and I'm never not going to suggest a book. The author worked hard on this. This is what they are proud of. And I think people should give it a shot because of that. Because it's like, being an author is hard work. This is their life. This is their passion. And I think that should be respected. However, this novel just didn't grab me. And unfortunately, I can only give The Girl of Hawthorn and Glass 1 star. That is my opinion once again. Others may feel differently. I do suggest everyone, this is what I always say, pick up the novel, read the first 5 chapters. If that's hard to do, put the book down. If it's not hard to do, keep reading until the end. Just go by every 5 chapters. If you're able to forget that you should only be devoting 5 chapters, then it's got you. It's grabbed you. It has your attention. But I do think, this is a novel. It deserves a shot. I'll say that. It deserves a shot. But this was my 2 cents. This is my opinion. And I can only give this novel 1 star, unfortunately. It was just a really huge disappointment. I wasn't able to connect to it at all, and I really found nothing substantial in it. It just felt empty. You know, it's like when you eat, but you're still hungry. I was so unsatisfied when I finished reading this novel, and I'm really disappointed by that. So, once again, this was The Girl of Hawthorn and Glass by Adan Jerreat-Poole. Once again, 1 star. If you want to purchase the book, I do suggest buying the book on bookshop.org because a percentage of your proceeds do go to local booksellers. If you are hesitant about buying this book or money is tight, check it out from your local library. Please support your local libraries. You know, they are a great resource for everyone, from kids to adults. Libraries are a great resource, and they should definitely be supported. And you know what? Support me. Please like and, subscribe to my podcast. I'm really hoping to make this sort of my career, and I can't do that without a little bit of help. Or not, just share it if you like what I have to say. So, on that note, have a great rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.